So in a previous video, I dyed this cotton Osnaburg muslin fabric with coffee grunge and a little bit of yellow craft paint mixed in with it. And then I line dried it, and it's really nice, primitive, and grungy looking. And I thought it would be perfect to make a bee doll with. And I created a pattern for this. I'll link it below if you're interested. I've got inspired by some I recently saw, and I'm like, I have to make one. I don't know, I've been really obsessing with doll making, sort of primitive country style dolls. And before I head on over to fall decorating, I wanted to get in one bee doll. So I tried to make this really simple and not complicated. And you just cut out the pattern for the doll and stuff it. But I want to tell you about these poly pellets. I am obsessed. They make the doll really nice and weighted, which also helps it sit up on a shelf because I don't know, I've been making them to sit up instead of stand. And I know a lot of people make primitive dolls that stand, and I do want to make some of those, but I'm on this like journey right now of this style of doll. So it's so easy to do. You do a little bit of painting, a little bit of embroidery, and if you're not comfortable with doing the embroidery, you could just paint the face or sew something like a bead for the eyes, things like that. Now, for this bee doll, I did decide to add some hair because I thought bees had like some kind of hair or fur on them, and I looked it up and it said that they did. So I made hair out of yarn, and I first painted the head because if you don't want to use any hair, you can just paint the head. And I kind of like this style where there's a little bit of a widow's peak on the bee's forehead for the hairline. But I like the way that the hair turned out, and it's just with the yarn as it is. However, I was thinking about combing the yarn out and making it like kind of more fluffier and straightened and stuff. However, though, at this time I've just left it as it is, so we'll see. And when you make the hair this way, it's really easy to just add the stitches and pull loops through with a crochet hook. I just happen to have this small crochet hook. And then after you want to trim the hair down, because if you try to use little short pieces of yarn, it'll be like a lot harder to like grab them and pull them through. So onto the clothing, it's not really complicated. There's a few little extra things that I thought would be cute, like these little flower patches. Instead of even doing that, you could just do a floral print. And of course, there is a little bee stinger on the back, which I thought was cute. So the clothing is also made with a fabric that was dyed with a coffee grunge and line dried, so it has that wrinkly, grungy, primitive look to all the fabrics used. And that's totally optional. But I said this in another doll video. If you have fabrics that are like scrap fabrics or ones that might be kind of busy and you're like, I'm not really sure what to make with that, that's perfect for doll making. This bee doll, you could vary the fabrics to literally anything. It could be florals, it could be denim, it could be burlap, all sorts of different cotton prints. So you could do the flower patches a completely different fabric that doesn't have to match at all. Also, I really like this ink to add a little extra distressing. And when you make the clothing for these dolls, I made the patterns where you just kind of sew the clothing on and gather them on the doll instead of adding elastic because it's made as it's intended to be as a decor doll. Originally, I was not going to put the overall straps on, but I just decided that he had to have them. I don't know what it is about the overall straps and whether there's a bib or not. I just think it really makes the little dolls something about it like neater. I do like them without, but I just feel compelled to always put the straps on. So you could do away with them as you if you wanted as well. And then of course some antennae and one of these little tags I made from my digital print Etsy shop. And then you hand sew on some really cute little bee wings. Isn't he cute? I feel obsessed. It's one of those things that halfway through you're like, is this a mistake? I don't know. But then I don't know, he's silly and he's cute and he's nice and weighted and a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video of me making him. Thank you for watching.